Chosen one, stop scrolling. What you're about to hear is not just a message, it's a divine interruption. This moment isn't random. If these words have reached you, it's because God has pulled you into alignment, right here, right now. You are in your mergence, yes, God said merging. The separation between who you were and who you were born to become is dissolving. The visions that lived quietly in your spirit, the ones no one believed in, the ones you saw in dreams, whispered in your prayers, birthed in your most sacred solitude, are being confirmed in this very moment. But listen closely, this is a sacred, dangerous, and powerful transition. During this mergence, distractions will intensify. Attacks won't come loudly, they'll come subtly. People you once trusted may suddenly feel distant or shift unexpectedly. Why? Because when the chosen step into their divine calling, the enemy trembles. This is not the time to get comfortable. This is not the time to fall back into old cycles. You are standing in the final stretch before your breakthrough hand. It demands your full attention, your full obedience, and your total surrender. What's coming is greater than anything you've imagined, but only if you remain in alignment. The door is opening. But not everyone in your life is meant to walk through it with you. Be discerning. This moment is too critical. Before we go deeper into this life-altering revelation, take these 3 prophetic steps. Hit the like button, it sends a signal to the algorithm. Yes, but also to the universe. Subscribe, help us reach 1,000 souls who are ready to awaken. And comment 99, the number of divine alignment, awakening, and prophetic timing. Say it with faith. Declare it with certainty. And if you truly are a chosen one, you'll stay until the end, because your spirit already recognizes the frequency of this message. Those who click away weren't ready for the mergence. But if you remain, your life is about to shift in ways that will leave no room for doubt. Now hear this. A signal has been released across dimensions, frequencies, and timelines. A sacred call has echoed, one that only a rare few can hear. Out of billions of souls, only a chosen 1% have responded, and not by choice. These aren't ordinary people. They carry ancient codes, sacred geometries, and divine blueprints embedded deep within their spiritual DNA. The time of forgetting is over. The era of activation has begun. The chosen are rising. The mergence is not theory. It is not myth. It is the literal fusion of the spiritual and material realms. It does not whisper, it roars into your reality, with dreams that rattle your soul, emotions that break through every wall, and a gravitational pull toward isolation, light, and truth. This is not something you study. This is something you survive. The process will dismantle everything false, every illusion, every comfort, every programmed belief. It is the collapse of your counterfeit self, the death of the puppet identity. If you are chosen, you will feel it in your bones. Your life will start to unravel, but not as punishment, as permission to rise above the limits of flesh, of name, of culture, of conditioning, because the real you is finally awakening. This is sacred dismantling, a divine disruption that clears the soul for rebirth. And once the mergence begins, there is no pause, no rewind, and no exit. There is only emergence, only ascension, only evolution through fire. This is not imagination. This is biological ascension. The human body, once confined by third-dimensional laws of physics, is now being rewritten. Strands of DNA once dismissed as junk are activating, awakened by light, sound, intention, and divine timing. These codes don't just shift your mindset, they rewire your entire system, your nervous system, your endocrine system, your electromagnetic field. The body ceases to be just matter. It becomes a temple of multidimensional intelligence, tingling in your spine, heat surging through your chest, pressure building in your crown, visions blooming behind closed eyes. These are not symptoms of illness. These are signs of spiritual ignition. Your physical vessel is preparing to hold more frequency than ever before. That's why exhaustion crashes over you without warning. That's why sleep becomes inconsistent. Why food begins to taste strange. The body is detoxing old frequencies, purging ancestral weight, and learning how to hold light. True power is not something you gain, it's something you remember. This process cannot be reversed. Once your DNA begins to receive higher frequency codes, the soul must keep rising or experience unbearable dissonance. The world won't always understand. Doctors may be baffled. Friends may drift away. But this isn't a group journey. This is sacred, inner terrain, and those who walk it are no longer merely human. They become bridges between worlds. The moment the soul ignites, resistance will follow. Not because the light is weak, but because it threatens every system, every entity, every program built on fear. Invasions don't arrive as monsters, they come cloaked as confusion. Doubt, betrayal, sudden illness, financial chaos, emotional breakdowns. These are not accidents. They are energetic counterattacks, launched to halt the Mergence before it completes. Negative forces operate through frequency. They scan for light in transition, seeking gaps, wounds, and moments of fatigue. When the soul rises and the ego crumbles, that is when you are most vulnerable. That is when strange arguments erupt out of nowhere, technology glitches, relationships turn toxic. These are not coincidences, they are spiritual algorithms, dark patterns, triggered by the rising of divine power. And they strike when least expected. But remember, resistance is proof of progress. The enemy does not attack what it does not fear. The chosen must never forget, everything that rises must first be tested. This is not punishment, it is preparation. Steel is forged in fire, and the soul is fortified in battle. These attacks aren't signs of failure, they are birth pangs of your spiritual rebirth. And not all resistance will come from strangers. Often, it comes from the familiar family, friends, partners, co-workers. Your transformation unsettles those still bound by illusion. Your awakening reflects back the truth they've been trying to avoid. And when they can't face it, they project, they mock, they pull away. But do not dim your light, because the more they resist, the more it confirms you are rising. They'll question your sanity. They'll say you've changed, become distant, strange. But it's not really them speaking, it's the fear within them. Fear amplified by dark frequencies. In many cases, these people become vessels for interference, not because they're evil, but because their unresolved wounds and shadows leave them open to manipulation. The awakened presence disrupts the energy their identities are built upon. And so, they react, not with understanding, but with resistance. As your soul transitions, you must learn to read between the lines, to feel the vibration behind every interaction. Not every smile is safe. Not every bond is sacred. You must learn to discern between love and attachment, between loyalty and spiritual bondage. This is one of the hardest lessons. Some people must be loved from afar. Others must be released completely, not out of judgment, but to protect your path forward. Not every soul can rise at the same pace. Not every connection can cross the threshold into the next realm. Those chosen for the Mergence must walk through the fire alone. This loneliness is sacred. It's not emptiness, it's incubation. It's the holy space where divinity awakens. In the beginning, it feels like unraveling. Time warps, hours stretch or vanish entirely. Synchronicities appear in floods, repeating numbers, animal messengers, prophetic dreams. The veil thins, and reality begins to shimmer, revealing its hidden code. Emotions rise and crash without explanation. The physical world begins to feel heavy, distant, and almost unreal. You are entering the crack between dimensions. There is no calendar for this awakening, no countdown, no schedule. The soul chooses its moment not by logic, but by alignment, courage, and cosmic timing. What looked like a breakdown was a breakthrough. What felt like betrayal was the key. These are not tragedies. They are activating events designed to shatter the ego and unlock the inner temple. The old life dissolves. The new life doesn't arrive with answers, it arrives with electric silence. This is the womb of the new self, and once it begins, nothing will ever be the same. The outer world keeps moving, oblivious, but inside, your entire reality is being dismantled and rebuilt. Logic collapses. Spirit takes the wheel. The body trembles as light floods in. This isn't madness, this is awakening. Once the Mergence begins, a powerful energetic window opens lasting between 3 to 7 days. This is not symbolic. It is a real, measurable gate. During this window, everything shifts, time warps, emotions intensify, the mind becomes foggy, the body aches, and sleep becomes erratic. These are not setbacks, they are calibrations. The soul is shedding density. The body is aligning with higher currents of spiritual light. This is the cocoon before ascension. Survival depends on silence, stillness, and sacred discipline. Any distraction during this time, arguments, social media, meaningless conversation, acts as a drain, stealing vital energy from your metamorphosis. Every second must be treated as sacred ground. Your environment must become a sanctuary for rebirth. During this period, sound becomes sharper, light feels brighter, emotions become amplified. Everything that is false within you will rise, not to torment you, but to be released. These 7 days are not just a detox, they are a full soul rebirth happening in real time. To survive, you must be intentional. Block out noise, cover your windows, limit technology, rest, breathe, drink herbal teas. Let the body soften and surrender. Protect the energy with everything you have, because at the end of this sacred window, you won't just be healed, you'll be reborn. Grounding rituals, water fasting, journaling, deep meditation. These are not indulgences. They are sacred technologies, spiritual tools for energetic preservation. In this phase, the chosen must treat their space as a fortress and their body as a sacred chamber. Do not explain your shift. Do not justify your silence. This is not performance. It is a private appointment with destiny. There are codes hidden, ancient codes passed down through bloodlines, inscribed in forbidden texts, veiled behind language and vibration. They were concealed, not because they were dangerous, but because they threatened control systems. During the Mergence, these sacred tools must be activated. Energy shielding, crystal grids, salt circles, light language, sacred sigils, spiritual anointing oils. These are not fantasy, they are frequency armor. Their purpose to repel interference while the soul is transitioning between realms. Words hold power. Specific tones, ancient chants when spoken with focused intention, can clear psychic debris, close open portals, and restore energetic sovereignty. Names of light beings, symbols charged with divine resonance, declarations of spiritual authority. These are not poetic metaphors, they are blades of light, cutting through unseen resistance. This knowledge was hidden not to protect the weak, but to disempower the strong. But now, it returns to those rising. Stand in your space and declare it sovereign. Speak with authority. Anoint the doorways, cleanse the air. Set boundaries, not through emotion, but through frequency. In this transition, even sleep becomes a battlefield. Invasive dreams, false entities posing as loved ones. These are tactics of distortion that enter through the subconscious when your guard is down. Protect yourself. Place water beside your bed. Set intentions before sleep. Call upon guardians from higher realms. This is not superstition. This is quantum hygiene. The more your light expands, the more sophisticated the attacks. But with the right spiritual tools, every attack becomes a catalyst for deeper awakening. This is how spiritual immunity is built. This is how you become unshakable. In the third dimension, 3D, reality is bound by polarity, time, and physical density. But in the fourth dimension, 4D, perception stretches, emotions gain layers, intuition sharpens, time loops, deja vu intensifies, reality bends. In the fifth dimension, 5D, oneness becomes law. Separation dissolves, thought and manifestation fuse. There is no gap between vision and action, only frequency alignment. This is the architecture of higher consciousness, and it is now seeping into the physical realm. Those rising into 4D and 5D will begin to experience phenomena once dismissed as mythoi location. Memory resets, collective telepathy, heart-based knowing, and ultrasensitivity to vibration. A global empathy so strong it erases personal ego. This is not science fiction. This is soul physics. Though the body remains rooted in 3D, the spirit moves freely, touching timelines, bending light, receiving downloads. What once felt personal now feels collective. Thoughts are no longer your own, they are echoes in the unified grid. There is no escaping the truth. There is only surrendering to it. The leap into 5D is not about leaving Earth, it is about healing Earth from within. Those entering this new frequency don't rise to escape the world, they rise to transform it. They bring divine codes into systems, into relationships, into art, education, and leadership. They don't abandon the physical, they anchor the sacred into the ordinary. This is not escape, it is embodiment. Complete the Mergence. Become a living transmitter of heaven in human form. Once the transition finalizes, access to divine intelligence is no longer a process, it becomes instantaneous. The Akashic Records, the cosmic database of all memory and all timelines, opens to the awakened soul without force or ritual. There is no longer a need for an intermediary. The chosen begin to remember not through fantasy, but through vibrational resonance. They recall lives once lived, contracts signed before incarnation, ancient names whispered through bloodlines, sacred missions once abandoned, lost skills buried deep in DNA. These memories do not appear as imagination. They arrive as frequencies, visions, sensations, languages, sounds, spontaneous knowing. The records are not bound in books, they are alive within the ether. Those who complete the Mergence become oracles, walking vessels of encoded wisdom. Time itself dissolves. Past, present, and future become layers of the same divine breath. Guidance no longer needs to be summoned, it flows. Reality becomes a canvas for divine will. The body, a pure conduit for the universal mind. There is no more guessing, only listening. But with access comes sacred responsibility. Every vision must be grounded, every message respected. Power without humility leads to collapse. Those who walk with the records must become living prayers anchored in service, clear in intention, fearless in purpose. This access is not a reward, it is an appointment, and that appointment is now being fulfilled. The body becomes the meeting place. As spirit floods into form, matter begins to tremble. The merging of ethereal and physical planes causes intense sensations, vibrating skin, a pulsing forehead, tension in the gut, sudden waves of euphoria or grief, blurred vision, spontaneous tears. These are not symptoms of sickness, they are evidence of multidimensional convergence. The realms are no longer adjacent, they are folding into each other. Old identities fracture, relationships collapse without warning. Careers that once felt secure now feel suffocating. Financial patterns shift. Technology behaves erratically. Nature responds viscerally to emotion. These are not glitches, they are confirmations, markers that the outer world is now reflecting the soul's rising vibration. For those completing the Mergence, reality becomes malleable. Thoughts sculpt experience, emotions magnetize events. But this is not fantasy. This is sacred responsibility. Every choice carries weight. Every action echoes across time. The awakened must now move with discernment, with grace, and with fierce clarity. Because from this point on, there is no more hiding. Spirit and matter have become one. The soul is now fully in command. The space surrounding the body is no longer neutral. It reflects your frequency. It echoes your field. During this sacred transformation, the home becomes an extension of the soul's nervous system. Every object, every sound, every corner vibrates. And when the soul is undergoing rebirth, the environment must become a sacred womb. Light codes require safety. Silence becomes medicine. Stillness becomes armor. The home must transform from a shelter of comfort into a sanctuary of light. Candles, plants, soft textures, sacred geometry, clear air, intentional sound. Every element becomes a participant in your evolution. Clutter discretes chaos, fractures, noise leaks your power. But space held in reverence amplifies your ascension. This is the final truth of the Mergence. Your world is no longer separate from you. You are the altar, you are the portal, you are the bridge between what was and what's becoming. And now you remember. Turn your space into a sanctuary. Cleanse everything. Remove what no longer aligns. Desolate objects that carry heavy memories or stale attachments. Wash your windows with intention. See clearly, within and without. Burn sacred herbs, sage, palo santo, frankincense. Let the smoke rewrite the room's frequency. Place salt bowls in the corners. Activate crystal grids. Hang protective symbols near entrances. This isn't superstition, it's energy engineering. Frequency flows where intention goes. The more sacred your space, the more smoothly the light will download into your body. Silence isn't just peace-side, it's a vessel for divine instruction. Turn off your phone, mute the news, dim the screens. Let your music be sacred, not random. Let your words be intentional, not chaotic. Place every object with care. Let every scent soothe. Every beam of light guide spirit in home becomes a temple of ascension, and the soul its priest. The body cannot rise if the space around it is pulling it down. Protect the fortress, because this is where the Mergence completes, and the signs were always there since childhood. The quiet knowing, the feeling of being different, watching life instead of just living it, sensing what people were going to say, dreams too vivid to forget, a pull toward solitude, discomfort in crowds, the grief with no name. These were never weaknesses, they were signals of separation, early proof that your soul was coded for something more. The 1%, the chosen, are not the loudest, not the most polished. They are the most sensitive, the most scarred by illusion, the most cracked open by pain, and the most hungry for truth. They are the empathy, the rebels, the mystics, the starseeds, the ones who never fit in. Society labeled them broken, but spirit has always marked them as initiated. The pain was never punishment, it was preparation. Every scar is a key, every breakdown a gateway. If you feel your chest tighten while reading this Sif, your heart races. If your body trembles, if tears flow without warning, that's recognition. That's your truth activating. Truth cannot be taught, it can only be remembered. And the chosen don't need proof. The soul already knows. The Mergence doesn't wait for applause, it answers the call. Even if the world never sees the light rising inside you, it doesn't matter, because your mission was never to be seen. It was to become, and when the Mergence completes, the old self dies. Not metaphorically, energetically. The version of you, built on trauma, on programming, on fear, it dissolves. The false roles collapse. The masks rot. The noise quiets. And in its place, something ancient and sovereign rises. This new self is not invented. It is revealed. It is not crafted by ego. It is unveiled by destiny. The world may not recognize you. Your loved ones may call it delusion, but you no longer seek validation. Your confidence no longer comes from approval. It radiates from alignment. Clarity sharpens. Decisions become clean. Boundaries become sacred. There is no more shrinking, no more pretending. The merged self walks like lightning in human skin, striking only where it is called, burning away illusion with every step alive. Awake, unshakable, and finally home calm, charged, untouchable. And yet, this identity is not static. It evolves daily, drawing in new frequencies, insights, and divine missions. It is a living interface with higher realms, constantly updating as the soul ascends. Every step taken from this point forward ripples across timelines. The self is no longer bound by past wounds, outdated beliefs, or inherited roles. It is no longer a personality, it is a presence, not a role but a revelation. Darkness does not attack because you are weak. It strikes because something holy is being born. The invasion is the firestorm before the dawn, a final test, a last stand. Every lingering doubt, every buried trauma, every energetic parasite rises not to destroy you, but to be purged, to be faced. This is not cruelty, it is divine confrontation. The soul must stand before all it once feared in order to reclaim what it once was. No one can walk this path for you. No friend, no guide, no healer. Support can hold your hand, but the crossing is solitary. And within that sacred solitude, something ancient awakens. An inner sword is drawn. And for the first time, the soul meets itself fully, not as theory, but as force. The invasion serves a holy purpose. It collapses the fragile layers. It shatters outdated timelines. It prepares the vessel for true authority. And when it passes, when the darkness screams its final scream and dissolves, what remains is unshakable peace. Peace not built on comfort, but on sovereignty. Power not taken from others, but earned through fire. The invasion is the final trial, the alchemical gate, and those who walk through it do not return the same. They return as keepers of light, warriors of truth, architects of new worlds. Once the Mergence completes, the soul steps into divine functionality. Intuition sharpens like lightning. Thoughts become magnetic. Pulling form from the invisible body becomes a tuning fork. Reading rooms, decoding emotion, sensing touch begins to heal. Words rewire. Presence alone awakens. This is not fantasy. This is the natural state of the awakened human. The veil is gone. The connection to source becomes constant. No more guesswork, no more begging for signs. The answers arrive in real time. Synchronicities become daily, sometimes hourly. The chosen no longer chase purpose, they embody it. Their life becomes the mission. Their breath becomes the prayer. Manifestation speeds up. Healing accelerates. What once took months of discipline now unfolds in minutes of alignment. These are not gifts, they are birthrights, locked away behind trauma, fear, and programming. And now the key has turned. The locks are broken, and the soul walks fully awake, not as a servant of fate, but as a co-creator of the new reality. This is ascension. This is the prophecy fulfilled. And this is only the beginning, because after the Mergence, the soul no longer seeks the light, it becomes the light. After the Mergence, the awakened soul begins to operate under laws that no longer mirror the rest of the world. Gravity, time, luck, and struggle become irrelevant remnants of a reality designed to suppress and control. What once required brute effort now bends effortlessly to vibrational command. The chosen are no longer bound by cause and effect. Timelines dissolve. Creation no longer comes from forfeit, flows from frequency. Intention becomes the architect, thought becomes the blueprint, and time, it collapses. Past, present, and future begin to stack, not as a line, but as a living spiral. This is why moments repeat, why déjà vu floods your senses, why visions, memories, and emotions from other lifetimes rise uninvited. These are not hallucinations, they are cross-dimensional reflections. The mind no longer stores knowledge, it becomes a receiver. The soul no longer plans life, it designs frequency. The law of hard work dissolves. Success is no longer a ladder, it's a match in vibration. Struggle was never the price of abundance, it was only a ritual born from programming. Now the awakened manifest through coherence, focus becomes power, clarity becomes currency, energy becomes true wealth. This is not spiritual bypass, this is quantum precision. And with this realization, the fear of death vanishes. Why? Because the soul has touched itself beyond the body. Consciousness no longer views life as a race against time, but as a journey through layers. The fear of loss begins to fade. The need to be understood dissolves. These are signs that the old laws have been overwritten. The soul now governs its own universe. With the veil gone and DNA activated, a new language emerges. Sounds with no earthly origin. Vibrations that bypass the intellect and speak directly to your cells. This is light language, the raw frequency of source, expressed through voice, movement, symbol, or writing. It is the original tongue of creation returning now through the chosen. Light language cannot be understood by the mind. It is not meant to. It is meant to transform the body. Each syllable carries energy to clear density, heal old wounds, and activate dormant codes. The one who speaks it becomes a transmitter. The one who hears it becomes recalibrated. This is not a performance. It is divine utility. It rewires DNA. It ignites memory. It speaks to the soul like a mother calling her child home. And then the hands begin to move on their own. Symbols emerge in the mind's eye. Some draw them, others dance them. These are star codes, sacred geometries remembered from lifetimes. On other planets and star systems, Liguria, Sirius, Andromeda, these names are not fantasy. They are soul geography. The light language unlocks missions long hidden across galaxies and timelines. And now, those missions return. And here's why light language cannot be censored. Because it cannot be owned. It cannot be monetized. If it cannot be diluted. It is sovereign. It is universal. It is non-linear. Once awakened, it cannot be unlearned. It becomes part of your new identity, a secret language between soul and source, a transmission of memory, purpose, and creation that bypasses all systems of control and the world. One day, it will remember. Remember this as the first and final language of truth. As the chosen awaken, so does the earth. The planet is not a passive stage, it is a conscious being, undergoing its own mergence. Her ley lines, magnetic grids, and crystalline veins now pulse with rising frequencies. Ancient temples, pyramids, sacred mountains, silent deserts. These are not relics. They are portal sentry points into other dimensions, zones of amplification where spirit meets matter. Some are being called to new places without logic, sudden urges to move cities, to climb mountains, to walk barefoot through ancient forests. These are not whims. These are soul callings. The earth is guiding her children to power points, locations where karmic residue is released. DNA is upgraded and divine missions are downloaded. Not all portals are grand. Some are hidden in a quiet park, a beach, a forgotten childhood home. The earth is reweaving her energy grids, and with every step taken in awareness, the awakened charge the planetary field. Even in solitude, the chosen are lighting up cosmic circuitry. And when many converge, whether physically or through intention, massive energetic waves ripple through Earth's atmosphere. This is not metaphor, it is the new science of sacred embodiment. The Earth does not heal separately from the soul, she heals through the soul. To walk on sacred land is now a ritual. To speak sacred words is now a planetary command. Those who understand this become Earth keepers. No longer just inhabitants, they become architects of the new Earth frequency. The planet is not only rising with the chosen, she is depending on them. And as the soul activates, the need for language diminishes. Thought begins to travel as vibration. Emotions become transmissions. Entire conversations happen in seconds, with no lips moving. This is the return of telepathy, the original communication of the ascended. And for the chosen, it has already begun. It starts subtly. You think of someone, and they call. You walk into a room, and feel everything before a word is spoken. You sense pain across oceans. You know before knowing. These are not coincidences, they are activations. The emotional body becomes a transmitter, a receiver. It bypasses logic, story, and illusion. It reads truth not with eyes, but with frequency. Telepathy is not hearing thoughts, it is sensing intention. It is feeling through the mask. And with this knowing comes freedom. No more manipulation, no more pretending, no more lies. The awakened cannot be deceived. Empathic intuition, sharpened by light, becomes the soul's compass. Eventually, all communication returns to its original sacred form, energy in motion, delivered by presence. There is no need for debate, no need for performance, just presence, just truth, just soul-to-soul exchange. And though the world may still be noisy, the chosen will hear through the silence. Dreams are no longer dreams, they are missions. And the chosen are now awake, waking up more exhausted than before sleep. That's because while the body rests, the soul travels. Nighttime becomes a training ground, a hidden corridor. Battles are fought, contracts are rewritten, beings are contacted, lessons remembered. These are not dreams, they are soul operations. Lucid dreaming becomes more frequent. The dreamer becomes the director. Flying, shifting time lanes, walking through portals. These are not fantasies, they are simulations, training for life beyond the veil. And what happens in the dream realm now bleeds into waking reality. Conversations continue from other lifetimes. Karma is resolved through symbols and archetypes. Messages arrive through strange beings, coded in metaphor. You wake up changed, not knowing why but feeling it. Some awaken with marks on their skin, others with emotions they can't explain. Vivid memories that fade quickly but leave a permanent sensation. These are aftershocks of astral encounters. The soul is working overtime, and every soul chosen for the Mergence is also being recruited for night work. Assignments in realms still hidden from the public eye. Protection is now essential. Pre-sleep rituals are no longer optional, they are spiritual armor. Salt placed near the bed, crystals beneath the pillow, declarations spoken aloud, intentions set like anchors. These are not bedtime routines, they are pre-launch sequences. The dream realm is not separate, it is the higher dimension through which soul mastery accelerates. And as the soul evolves, the heart awakens, not metaphorically, but mechanically. After the Mergence, the heart activates as the most intelligent technology in the body. It becomes a cosmic transmitter. Its electromagnetic field expands up to 20 feet, sometimes more. It becomes a portal of knowing, an antenna for truth, a generator of frequency so powerful that no machine can measure its full range. Decisions no longer come from logic, they come from resonance. When something is aligned, the heart feels warm, expansive, alive. When something is false, it tightens, pulses irregularly, or goes silent. This is not just emotion, it is multidimensional. Signal reception. The awakened now use the heart like a radar system to detect deception, to navigate unknowns, to summon new timelines into existence. GPS systems, lay detectors, and intellectual analysis, these all fade in comparison to heart coherence. And as this activation deepens, relationships begin to change, surface-level connections disintegrate. Only those who can meet you heart to heart remain. Because once the heart becomes the compass, only truth can stay.